Thank you. Thank you for that. We're getting set up for the mock trial. This is the judiciary in action. It's very exciting. Look, it's my script. What? Yeah, you did. You did it. You did it, and you're guilty, and we all know it. And, you know, it's like the guy who says he's not guilty, it's like the fart rule. The smeller's the feller, so. But also the one who denied it supplied it, so you're like that guy. It's going to be a wild night. I hope you guys are ready. It's going to be like Gallagher. Our judge's going to be smashing watermelons. Front row, I hope you brought parkas. You know, the rumors about Freedom Fest, they are all true. Every single one of them.
No, you're right here. You've got to be opposite these guys.
Are we ready? Let me know when we're ready, and I'll start.
We're ready.
Oh, okay. I'll be sure to whisper it so no one knows that I'm asking you if we're ready. And without further ado, let us achieve justice. Hear ye, Freedom Fest Court is now in session for this important trial to determine whether a policy of open borders for legal or illegal immigrants is good or bad for our country. Our judge for this trial is publisher and science writer Michael Shermer. Dr. Shermer is the founding publisher of Skeptic Magazine and the host of the podcast, The Michael Shermer Show. What an appropriate name. For 18 years, he was a monthly columnist for Scientific American. He is the author of the New York Times bestsellers Why Darwin Matters, Heavens on Earth, Giving the Devil His Due, Reflections of a Scientific Humanist. Dr. Shermer received his BA in psychology from beautiful Pepperdine University. It overlooks the Pacific Ocean. It's really fantastic. His master's in experimental psychology from Cal State Fullerton, really arguably the best of the Cal State schools, and his PhD in history from Claremont Graduate University. For over 10 years, he was a presidential fellow at Chapman University. All rise for your judge, Michael Shermer!
South of the border, down Mexico way. That's where I fell in love when the stars above came out to play.
All right, here we go. Good evening, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, we're gathered here in the great city of Memphis in the volunteer state of Tennessee. Thank you. To determine if the open border policy of the United States is a good idea, that it attracts entrepreneurs, new talent, and foreigners willing to work hard, pay their taxes, and contribute to our culture and way of life. Or is our open door policy overwhelming our state's social welfare programs, the drug war, criminal justice, our educational system, and changing the balance of our electorate toward a bigger and more intrusive government? According to some estimates, there could be more than 20 million undocumented immigrants in the United States. What should be the best policy to pursue with regard to allowing foreigners to enter the United States? Defending the rights of people everywhere to decide where they live and on what terms is Dr. Catherine Bernard. Dr. Bernard is a criminal defense attorney with the law firm Bernard & Johnson and founder of the Spartacus Legal Foundation in Atlanta, Georgia. She's a passionate advocate for protecting people's constitutional rights. She received her JD degree from the University of Virginia and was a public defender of indigent clients and a practicing attorney in civil litigation in downtown Atlanta. Dr. Bernard, will you please stand?
Thank you.
Dr. Bernard, you must stand while I read the charges against you. This is serious business here. You are accused of supporting an open border policy. Oh, you're one of those. I've seen you on Fox News. That has led to an unsustainable burden on our social welfare and educational system, an increase in crime and the drug war, and a deterioration in our culture. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor. Along with my distinguished witnesses, I will be showing today that an open border policy is the most humanitarian way to uphold the principles and ideals of our republic, and when properly administered, is a boon to economic growth and the strength of our entire society.
Whoa. Sounds like you won already. Okay. Wait, you guys aren't the jury.
Wait till you hear from Dr. Elder.
Okay. We will begin this proceeding with a 5-minute opening statements. First, from the prosecuting attorney, Larry Elder. Larry Elder is the sage of South Central. A New York Times best-selling author, award-winning documentary filmmaker, and one of the best-known media figures in America today. His flagship daily radio program, The Larry Elder Show, was heard every weekday in all 50 states and in more than 300 stations. I'm from LA, so I used to listen to that. Drive Time LA, 5 o'clock, here comes Larry Elder. All right, loved it. Larry was born and raised in South Central Los Angeles. His father served in the United States Marine Corps during World War II, and his mother was a clerical worker for the United States Department of War. Remember when it used to be called that? Now the Department of Defense. And raised 3 boys as a stay-at-home mom. After running for governor of California in 2021 and securing millions of votes, Larry is now ready for the next step in his journey. He is running for president of the United States in 2024. All right. Mr. Elder, welcome to the Freedom Fest Court. After their opening statements, each attorney will call 2 witnesses who will be subject to cross-examination. Afterwards, the jury will rule on the case, and if the defendants are found guilty, the judge, that's me, will impose a harsh sentence. Not that I'm biased one way or the other. I am neutral. Okay. Speaking of which, jury, let me give you some instructions. You have been selected because you have pledged to be an impartial observer who has not made up his or her mind about immigration issues. You will listen carefully to the opening statements and the testimonies of the witnesses, and at the end of this hearing, you will be required to determine whether there is sufficient evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, let me pause on that for a second. There's 2 standards of evidence. There's preponderance of evidence, which is, as they say, 50% plus a feather. You got to go more than that. Preponderance of evidence is like way more than just half. These were 2 conflicting arguments. Could have gone either way. I like this one slightly better than that one. You got to do better than that. To convict her, they have to have really strong arguments. Okay? All right. So the decision will be based on a majority vote. You don't have to be unanimous, just the majority of you. Is that understood? Okay. All right. Because I heard some mumblings in the jury room about opinions already determined. You have not made up your mind, right? Okay. I'm looking at you, sir. I heard you. Death penalty for parking tickets. Okay. By the way, as a parenthetical note, do you like my robe? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, the last time I wore this at this special occasion, I had a bag of cocaine and it's missing. So if anyone knows what could have happened to this. Anyway. Okay, Mr. Elder, you may begin with your 5-minute opening statement. I have a stopwatch on that. And I'm instructed by our leader, Mark Skousen, to enforce that 5 minutes. Go.
Judge, Dr. Bernard, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution grants Congress the responsibility to establish an uniform rule of naturalization. This is clear. Section 4, Article 4 says the government shall, quote, protect each of the states against invasion. At one time, Democrats Bill Clinton, Harry Reid, Barack Obama, Dianne Feinstein, Chuck Schumer all railed against illegal immigration, even using the term illegal alien. And that was then, unlike now, where at that time, most of the illegal aliens were Mexicans who were walking across the border. Right now, you cannot get across the border unless you pay money to a cartel. The border is even more dangerous than it was back then when these Democrats railed against illegal immigration. Peter Beinart is a liberal, wrote an article in 2017 about how the, quote, Democrats lost their way on immigration and pointed out that there is a political reason why they switched. And the reason is simple: for votes. They determined that the growing Latino population allowed the Democrats to secure more votes. That's how cynical this is all. Numbers matter. As you pointed out, Judge, we all hear that there are 11 million illegal aliens, 13 million illegal aliens, when in fact, a study from Princeton puts the numbers at over 20 million. It may even be as high as 30 million. This is relevant because in the mid-'80s, when Ronald Reagan did amnesty, the assumption was 1.5 million illegal aliens would sign up for it. The number ended up being twice that. So we have no idea how many illegal aliens are here, but I assure you it's far more than 11 million. I mentioned the crisis today. When Jay Johnson, Obama's DHS secretary, was in power, he said, if across my desk there are 500 attempted illegal entries yesterday, I'm having a good day. If there are 1,000, I'm having a bad day. There are now over 5,000 a day, and that does not count so-called gotaways. The cost. Illegal aliens consume large amounts of government benefits, whether health care, if only to go to an ER room. When you go to an ER room,